What's up, folks? It's DRX, aka the Frisco Roamer. This is part two of my series. Part one, let me just quickly recap. It was me investigating and researching before I returned back to the United States from 10 years abroad and the crazy stuff I discovered and my fear of coming back home. Well, now I'm back. What's the first thing I noticed? Right off the plane, I step out, I'm in the terminal. I see my black brothers and sisters. I see my Latino brothers and sisters. Well, I see Asians and whites too, but I've been around Asians. I mean, that's all there is in Asia. And then there's a fair amount of white people. Not too many, but there's white people. But you don't see too many Latinos and blacks or Middle Easterners in Asia, like in Taiwan and Vietnam, occasionally, but it's super rare. Most of the black people I've seen are from Africa, and most of the Latinos I've seen are from Latin America. It's kind of rare to see an American Latino or Black American. So that was really good to see. It was just great to see my Black and brown brothers and sisters back home. So that was one thing I was really happy about. So then I head home, drop off my things, and what's the first thing I do? I head over to Gordo's. That's my go-to spot for burritos. Now, it's really hard to find good Mexican in Asia. So when I went to Gordo's, I ordered my super burrito and I ate it. And yeah, it has gluten. And yeah, I got sick, but it was worth it. It was so scrumptious. It was so good. I was so happy to be back for that. Aside from the diversity of people, it was just also really nice to see the diversity of food. Now, when I lived in Saigon, it was pretty international. In District 7, I had a lot of options really close by, but the options in San Francisco are even better. So within a few blocks, I have access to so many different types of foods. And then one really good thing, one hard thing about being abroad is if you're gluten free, it's really hard to eat. The good thing is sometimes I cheat. Like I said, I had a burrito that's gluten, makes me sick, but sometimes I make exceptions. But abroad, gluten-free can be extremely hard. Vietnam is a great place to be if you're gluten-free, by the way. But now I'm looking at places I used to eat at, burger joints, sandwich joints, pizza joints. And, I'm researching different restaurants that I used to like to eat back in the day in Frisco. And I'm seeing all these gluten-free options. And I'm like, yes, I am in heaven. So that was really good, but everything is so damn expensive. I can barely afford any of this stuff. Imagine this. A bowl of pho in Vietnam is like $2. A bowl of pho here is like $16, not including tip. So it's pretty crazy, the difference. So prices are very, very, very expensive, but still diversity of food and so many gluten-free options. It's just heaven. Another thing I really like that I rarely don't see abroad is just people mobbing in their cars with the windows down and just bumping their music, hearing funk, hearing rap, hearing rock, hearing all sorts of music and just people mobbing and just music blasting. I so missed that. And I was so happy to just hear music and just people bumping their music on the streets. So that was definitely something I was really happy about. And the final thing is being a pedestrian. You know, we US Americans complain about a lot of things, but until you go somewhere else, it really brings perspective. I think the pedestrian rules out here in San Francisco are great. I think the cars are really nice. They stop for me 95% of the time, make eye contact. It's really nice. And we have sidewalks. I can walk on the sidewalk. I don't have to walk on the street with motorbikes, bikes, and cars because in other countries, they don't have sidewalks except for in certain areas. So, and there's no right of way. No one abroad cares about pedestrians. Asia, Latin America, maybe in some places in Europe, but no. in most of the places I've lived in and visited, they could care less about you crossing the street. So being back in San Francisco has been great for those reasons. Okay, so what's new since I've been gone, at least in San Francisco? There's more homeless people in my neighborhood. My neighborhood, growing up, there was like four token homeless people, and like we had nicknames for all of them. We all knew who they were. There's probably like 15 to 20 in my neighborhood now, which is a lot more than before. But San Francisco always had a homeless problem. There's so many homeless people downtown in the TL Market, South of Market, all around there, and a lot of other spots too. I guess they're just kind of migrating all around the city now. So that's a little bit different. But yeah, again, homelessness has always been something here. Apparently, San Francisco is super dangerous now. Um, okay, we can talk about that a little bit later. But I'll leave it at that for now. The city is more dirty than it used to be. It wasn't as bad as my research, but it's definitely noticeable. But it's not horrible in San Francisco. But there are areas like when I went to South of Market, like Mission Street, that was pretty dirty. I was like, damn, this is pretty bad. My neighborhood, there's more trash, but it's not too bad. But the final thing that really bothered me is what's up with these drug commercials that you watch? I mean, I'm watching some TV. I don't want to watch a lot of TV, but I see these commercials about drugs and the side effects, dizziness, heartache, fatigue, death at the end. And like all of them say that. It's just a bunch of these horrible side effects. I mean, what are these people feeding you? I just feel so bad. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't know what more to say about that, but I just feel bad for y'all that you have to watch this garbage. Yeah, that's probably one of the most bothersome things for me are those commercials. You know, I'm more of a natural guy, and I do pretty well. But yeah, I would stay away from that stuff. I try not to watch any of that stuff. I try to avoid the TV now. After watching a dozen of those commercials, I'm done. So a couple of things that I didn't like. People in San Francisco are still pretty douchey. Um, it was very apparent. Everyone sounds like my sister in that they all talk like this. Oh, well, that's so great. Wow, that's awesome. And it doesn't matter if you're a male or female or what race you are or gender. It doesn't matter. Everyone here sounds the same. Well, not everyone, but most people, especially in my neighborhood, they all sound, hey, yeah, that's great. How you doing? Oh, yeah, that's so cool. Yeah. They all sound like that, and it's annoying as hell. You know, when I was growing up here, we used slang, we talked different, and I don't feel part of the city. I don't feel part of the city anymore. But yeah, things change. You know, I guess you have to get with the times. I don't plan on talking like this all the time, but you do you. Cool. Another thing I didn't like about coming back to the States is just the pricing. It's just so insanely expensive out here. You know, I made that comparison earlier about bowl of pho in Vietnam for $2, and out here it's $20 with the tip. Everything here is just super expensive, and it's just I'm just not used to that. But one thing I don't like is the road rage, and people here just they get mad over the pettiest stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I used to be one of them. I used to have really bad road rage. I would chase people down and stuff, and it just was all bad, just over such petty things. But in Asia, the driving is so bad, it's like 100 times worse than here. And I was getting pissed off all the time. But the interesting thing is the Asians, they don't get angry. They're very zen-like. I've seen some crazy stuff between them and like accidents and everything. No one gets pissed off, or at least they control it. But it's not like here where people will chase you, shoot you, stab you, fight you, all of that stuff. That stuff's not happening out there. But the driving is, as I said, 100 times crazier than here, maybe even more. If anyone has driven in Asia, you know what I'm talking about. But coming back here, I get really irritated when people have road rage because I'm like, man, that's so petty. You're mad at that. And for me now, I don't have road rage out here because everyone drives good. Even when they make mistakes, it's not enough to piss me off. So that's one good thing. While I don't like road rage anymore, I don't do it anymore. So I'm really happy about that. And the final thing that I don't really enjoy, but I know it's necessary and it's part of U.S. American culture is tipping. Uh, you don't tip in Asia, so it's really nice. I'm not. It's not something that I hate. You know, it's just weird for me to live somewhere for so long and then come back here and be like, oh, I got a tip. I forgot. And yeah, so not super bad, but a little bit annoying. But I get it. It's cool. So now, what's the real? How real is the internet, and how real is real life? So as I said, I've been in San Francisco almost a year. Uh, and I'm gonna assume everyone here thinks I'm a white dude. So no one socked me in the face for being white. No one, and by the way, I'm on the street every day. I go out all the time. I go on walks. I'm always out doing something. I'm doing photography. I'm shooting, whatever. No one has assaulted me or attacked me for being white. Um, no one has. I haven't seen any of that yet. Nothing has happened. I haven't seen any. I haven't even really seen any Karens. That's another new term for me. I haven't seen any Karens. Uh, I bump into random people, black dudes, talk to them, no problems. Latinos, no problems. Asians, no problems. White people, no problems. People are still douchey in Frisco, so I don't talk to many people out here. But even outside of San Francisco, I've been to Marin, I've been to Oakland, I've been to, other places in the Bay Area. And again, no issues. I'm not seeing any problems. And at this time, I'm a few months into San Francisco and I'm kind of like, what's up with this internet in real life? Like, I was literally freaking out when I was doing my research and I'm not seeing anything. But it's San Francisco. It's a blue city. It's liberal. I haven't seen. I've even been to the Castro with all the gays and stuff. No one's bothering me. No one's saying, "Oh, you misgendered me." No one's doing anything. Everyone's just handling their business and living life just like before I left. So now I'm in the outer Bay Area and exploring, and same thing because I love talking to people. I'll just interact with people and have basic conversations. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about politics or anything or doing things that are gonna, ruffle people's feathers. But I'm just having conversations, and everything is fine with all my American brothers and sisters. Doesn't matter what race. Everything has been cool. Okay, fine. So now I go to outside the Bay Area. Now I'm in Sacramento, Merced. I got family out there and interacting with new people there. Again, nothing. No drama, no nothing. Everything is cool. And I'm beginning to question everything on the internet. But you know what? That's not fair because I'm still in California. But guess what? My sister moved to Utah. And so I spent a month in Utah. And last I checked, Utah is a red state and not as diverse as California or San Francisco. So I spent a month in Utah. Go to southern Utah. I go to the national parks like Bryce Canyon, Capitol Reef, Arches. I travel all over Utah. Small towns, scary kind of hick towns that I would have been scared of back in the day. Uh, no issues. Everyone is nice. I even seen cars, rocking Trump and then saying fuck Joe Biden and stuff like that. And they're rolling down their windows and waving to me and, stopping their car and we're having conversations and everyone's cool, you know? Everyone is cool. No one's doing anything crazy. They're not looking at me weird. Nothing's happening. And now I'm like, well, okay, I'm in Utah, red state. I'm hanging out with these guys who obviously love Donald Trump. I'm not a fan. Again, we're not talking about politics, but we're hanging out and we're chilling and we're conversating. No issues. Now you might be thinking, well, he's a white guy, so it's cool. Well, my mom's not, and she don't look even close to being a white person. So I was with her 75% of the time because me, my mom, my dad went to travel and visit my sister because I haven't seen her in years. So yeah, she had no issues as well. So now I'm really, really beginning to question things. What is really going on? Because all of the research I did online does not mirror what's happening in reality. So I go back to San Francisco, no issues, and then we head to Las Vegas. My dad has a friend who happens to be black. We went to visit him for a week. We hung out in Vegas. We're on the strip. I'm chopping it up. A lot of people come to Vegas. It's pretty diverse, whether they live there or they're visiting. I'm chopping it up with people, hanging out. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I don't understand why any of this doesn't make sense. So if you're watching this, comment, let me know what the real is, because I don't see any of that in real life. It seems everything, all the crazy, obnoxious stuff is all on the internet, and none of it's happening on the street. And it used to be the opposite. Everything was happening on the street and not much on the internet. Now it's everything is on the internet, nothing on the street. So I'm confused. Help me out. I do want to add that just because I'm not seeing things happening on the streets doesn't mean that they aren't happening. The United States is a big place. There's lots of people. So is the world. I know there's things happening all the time. I don't need the internet to tell me that social injustices are happening globally. I already know that. I was thinking about doing a final thoughts for a third video, but I feel that you guys are ahead of the game. I'm pretty new to social media and I'm beginning to kind of figure out what's fake and what's not. But literally, like, before coming back home, I was freaking out. All this stuff I was watching on social media, I just thought like it was actually happening all the time, and come to realize that it's not. There's also a lot of positivity happening and a lot of good people out there. So with that said, if you like the video, feel free to like it. But I probably wouldn't subscribe because I don't really do videos like this. I'm a travel channel, lifestyle and culture. I try to get people to step out of their comfort zones. I try to get people to check out new places by giving information and sharing my experiences. And if you're into that, feel free to subscribe. With that said, peace. Keep being curious.